Yo, what's up, guys? We have another episode for you, and it's so good, guys. We have Andrew Sorchini. He is the head of Beverly Hills Precious Metals. They're an amazing company. First of all, we know with inflation going crazy right now, y'all need to get some precious metals. You need gold, you need silver, you need to turn that 401k, transfer it over.
There's no better way to protect your money than getting involved with this.
And you're gonna learn why, how, where, when, what, who.
All of that and more in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Mr. Andy Sorchini. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing good.
Doing great.
So, how have you been? What are you up to?
Well, I've been so busy, and I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. I'm glad to finally be on your show with you.
Yes,
And this has been a time where my company, Beverly Hills Precious Metals, has just been absolutely thriving. We've been telling people that the stock market was going to pull back for a long time. We've been telling people how to protect themselves. Now we're letting people know real estate is about ready to head south, and that you need to protect yourself. And now people are really reaching out more than ever.
That's so amazing. Yeah, we said in our little intro video a little bit what you're involved in and what you do. And we are so happy to tell our audience about this. Like when you were telling us, and I think Clay gave us a hint, and Aaron, they were just like, you guys need to get Andrew on the show. You need to get him. He is going to change some of your followers' lives. And I was just like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's all
you had to say.
I'm so glad we finally got to connect, because this is going to be amazing. Because honestly, we're not that informed on it either. Like we're going to have to get involved in this because I've always heard things about precious metals and gold, and I've heard about it. And my dad has taught us about it. My dad bought a silver for Christmas, like random little pieces. He's trying to do stuff to help us out, but our knowledge was not that great on it. And so we wanted to come here to educate us and educate our audience on how we on how we can, know what to do in this tough time. So can you tell us a little bit about where you started and how you got involved in this, and then
Absolutely. So I'm 52 years old, and I started working in gold and silver back when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
And when I was 9 years old, my parents had moved to a town called West Covina here in the Los Angeles area. And we lived across the street from where there was a shopping mall. And being a young kid back then, video games, I just wanted to take like every quarter I could get my hands on and just cross the street, go into the mall, play video games. But the money was gone so fast, I wanted to hang out at the mall. I didn't want to go home where my mom was going to make me do, clean things, wash dishes, do whatever.
Right.
So I started hanging out in the mall, and in there they had a coin shop and they had gold and silver. And I just loved to just hang out in there and look at everything they had and watch people come in and buy gold and silver, watch people come in and sell gold and silver. And I was just in there so much. At some point they just said, hey, Andrew, why don't you, here's $2, please go get me a soda and buy one for yourself. And I'd be like, heck, that's great. My parents wouldn't let us have soda at home. So, so I just hung out at the mall and I played video games, looked at the coins. And then at 15, they said, hey, we'd like to hire you full time, but you're going to have to get a work permit. I said, great. So I'm working while I'm in school. And I just thought it was just a way to, make a few bucks. I didn't really think it would be a career. And I did do some other things after that, but really my whole life I've been involved with gold and silver. And now it's something way bigger than what it started as. I learned over the years that people invest in gold and silver to be able to protect their portfolio, protect their other investments from what can happen in the world. Different events like, say, COVID or what's happening in Ukraine can affect your investments quite a bit. And owning some physical gold and silver can help protect you. Now, to bring that around a little bit for what your father did when he gave you the silver, it's you're probably thinking, wow, the silver is nice, but I would have rather had some cash so I can go out and buy the things I want. But really, he comes from a generation where his parents were probably kids during the Depression, or possibly their parents were. And those were some tough times. And back then, if you didn't have something tangible that you could hold in your hand, then you don't own it. So our dollars are we just agree that they're worth $100 if it's $100 bill, but really it's not worth $100. Wow. So he was attempting to teach that silver is like part of your future. This is how you can protect yourself if the centralized banking system were to go down and there's no internet and all your cash is gone because you've spent it all, how would you buy food to eat that day? And you could in theory get that silver and go purchase some groceries with that. You just have to find somebody that's willing to take that in exchange for it.
Because it's actually valuable, unlike a dollar.
It is.
That's amazing. So you obviously have had a successful business doing this, but I love that your heart is to help people. Like, we were kind of on the phone the other day and you were like, I just really want to help people, be secure and safe in this rough time. And so, I mean, for me personally, I want to get involved in this. And I think these people that aren't aware of it, this is a perfect opportunity for them to be able to learn. So what's the website called again? BH.
Yeah, it's bh-pm.com.
Okay.
And people can go on the website and take a look around. I have a few tables on there that just explain inflation and how bad inflation has been in different countries and just how devastating it's been to their economy. And what people should do is there's a couple of buttons on the website. One says first time customer and another one says free consultation. Click on any of those and fill out your name, your email address, your phone number, and it'll say, how did you hear about us? Say Smith Brothers or Smith Bros. And then down on the bottom, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe you have a 401k account that was set up. You worked at another company. You don't work there anymore, but you still have it. And you feel like you might want to own gold and silver within that 401k. You can do that. So just put that in the notes and then submit it. We'll get the submission, and we're not going to call you and just say and try to hammer you into doing a deal with us.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk to you a little bit, and if the time is right for you, then we'll proceed in helping you obtain gold and silver.
That's great. Yeah. That's a great deal. Absolutely. Yeah. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but gold and silver over time doesn't really lose its value, right? It's always going to be worth a good amount. And we used to be backed by the gold standard, and now we're not. So like you were saying earlier, we just agree that this is worth something. So what you're doing right now, it's very important. With inflation increasing and rising at this incredible rate, it's absolutely insane. You need some kind of security, and that's in gold and silver. So what you're doing is amazing, and I just love learning about this.
Yeah,
I'm so glad our audience has the chance to learn about it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You said something about retirement before, like the importance of like getting involved in. Can you go explain more on that? What that it is, how that's beneficial to the audience?
Absolutely. It's most people's retirement accounts are invested in stocks or mutual funds. And mutual funds typically will hold stocks. It's a basket of stocks that makes up a mutual fund. I'm a big fan in the stock market. I've been involved with it ever since I was a kid as well, and have done well. I've made a lot and lost a lot in the stock market, but people build a lot of wealth in the stock market and have done so for the last 13 years. Now, this year, it's starting to pull back. Most stocks are down about 20% this year, and they're heading a lot. They're going to head down a lot more than that. So when the stocks head south, that means that people are selling their stocks. Well, that money's got to go somewhere. They put it in the bank initially, but then if you have a large sum of money in the bank, that makes you not comfortable, because then you start thinking about all the bad things that could happen. Could the government take it? You think of every bad thing that can happen. So you can convert your retirement account out of stocks into cash and then into physical gold and silver that you own. It's just you can't take delivery of that gold and silver, but it is held at a depository. It's in Delaware, where I actually have an account at. For half of the company's inventory is actually at the depository, and it's insured. So you don't have to worry about taking delivery of it and the things that could happen, the danger that can cause with people trying to take it from you. So it's not a taxable event to roll over a 401k or an IRA into a precious metals IRA. It sounds complicated, but it's simple on our end. We can help you do it.
That is amazing. I would encourage you guys to all get involved in something like that, because the stocks and all that stuff, like you said, it's not as a bad thing, but you're not secure. It's not secure. In these times that we're living in right now, we all need some security. It's like I would encourage you to get it regardless of what time we're in, but specifically this time. it's terrifying. We don't know what's going to happen. We got a president who's wilding all the time.
Who just said he has cancer.
Who just said he has cancer, who also just got diagnosed with COVID. Like, who knows what's going on with that guy? But we all know he's not doing anything to help our country.
Right.
So, like, if you're in a situation where you want to be secure for your family and for your future family, like, I would encourage wholeheartedly to get involved in this, because, like we said, we don't know what's happening next. We know that billions of dollars are being sent to other countries, and we know inflation is insanely high.
Like, it seems to just increase every day. It just keeps going up. It's insane.
But at least gas went down like 10 cents.
Yeah. sure.
Gas we went down $1 here, and everyone it's only $6 a gallon. That's it.
Only $6.
Yeah, it's not $7 anymore.
Now, to talk about inflation for a little bit, they say that the current inflation rate is 9.1%. We all know it's much higher than that. But let's just say, let's just say it's only 9.1%. That, for people that don't understand, I'll just break it down for them. That prior to this year, if you had $1, it's worth $1. Well, if we have a 9.1 inflation rate, that means that $1 is only buying 91 cents worth of product compared to what it could have bought in December. So if you just do nothing in your life, you're losing about 10% of everything that you're working for. So if you have a job, if you work at Starbucks and Starbucks gave you a 10% raise this year, then great, you're fine, because you just got a 10% raise and your dollar is buying 10% less. So you're actually you're actually still the same as how you would have been last year. But if you didn't have something working like that, you need gold and silver to be able to hedge, because typically gold and silver will rise in value during inflationary times. And people could argue and say, well, are gold and silver up for the year of 2022 or down? They were up a lot. Now they're actually down. So probably more than the 10%, but it won't stay that way, because you're not investing in physical gold and silver for the short term. It's more of the long term.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that in gold, like, the long term is way more beneficial than, like, it's not like a quick fix. You're not just getting gold so you can spend the gold. There's no purpose in that. You can do that with your cash.
Exactly. And you mentioned that we went off the gold standard, and we did that in 1971. And the politicians that took us off the gold standard, they knew full well what was going to happen years down the road. They knew we would end up exactly where we are now. But sometimes when you see that you're in a desperate situation, people will sometimes take measures that they wouldn't normally do and just figure, okay, I'll just deal with the outcome later, so I don't have to deal with it now. And back then, gold was just $20 an ounce in 1971, just $20. Yeah, today it's $1,720, and it's been as high as $2,175.
Oh my goodness.
And think about this. If we were to have all the dollars out there, which, Biden since Biden's been president, he's printed so many dollars that it makes up 30% of all the dollars out there in the world, just during the Biden presidency.
Wow.
So our dollar is being devalued. And if somehow we were able to back those dollars by gold again, gold could be $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 an ounce. No one knows. But if you Google it and just say, what would the value of gold be if our dollars were backed by gold, you'll see some crazy numbers, because there's so many dollars out there.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's mostly people that understand the value in gold and silver are much, much older than us, even much older than me. The younger generations are more into Bitcoin and, paying for things with Venmo and PayPal and stuff like that. But really, it's time to kind of take it back to the basics a little bit. And even if you hate the idea of owning physical gold and silver, at least convert a portion of your portfolio, maybe 10, 15, 20% over.
What are your thoughts on, since, like, I don't want to go crazy into it, but what are your thoughts on Bitcoin and all that stuff? Like, do you have any,
Well, I like it. It's I've invested in it. I have some now. What I'm in now, I don't even look at it, and that's what you have to do. It has to be true risk capital. I have some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, some Dogecoin. I've made big money. I've lost big money on the cryptocurrencies, but cryptocurrency are not a store of value. And you hear that phrase all the time. Bitcoin is a store of value. No, it is not, because
Absolutely.
Bitcoin can, yeah, a store of value is like in my definition of it is let's say you had you sold something, maybe an apartment that you had, and now you have 300,000 cash that you sold it for, and you don't want that cash in the bank. Where could you park those funds and not have it be in the bank? That would be a store of value. So they said Bitcoin could be a store of value. Well, when it can fluctuate in value by 10 or 20%, that's not a store of value. That's a crazy gamble.
Yeah.
So although I do like it, you have to take a portion of your cash that you're willing to just really take a big gamble on, put it into the crypto and just forget about it.
It's a huge risk.
Yeah, it is.
Sounds like it's the opposite of buying gold and silver.
Yeah, the complete opposite.
It's like that.
It's opposite. It's
all
I like
kinds of
investments. Yeah,
Go ahead,
it's very risky. I like investments in general, so I don't mind having a little bit of that. But that's like it's like for people that gamble. If you go to Las Vegas and you take a couple $1,000s, just whatever you choose to take there, just figure that that's money you might not come back with. And for me, that's what the cryptocurrency is.
That's terrifying.
Makes me not want to get into it.
Yeah.
I never thinking about it at some point, but nah.
The only things I ever wanted to get involved with was like real estate investing, gold and silver, like getting those things. Those are actual like physical assets, like
resources,
tangible. Like people always need a house, people always need a place to live. People are going to need gold, especially when the value of dollars like nothing. So it's like those things are so like there's a future with those. Like the things like that, I'm like too paranoid to do that.
Temporary. It won't last forever.
No, I'm happy to say that. That's how I believe too.
It's like the right answer, because I mean, you know this shit. You're an expert in this area, but it's like they don't teach us this in school. Not really. They don't teach us the importance of gold, the importance of natural resources. Like there's a reason why there's so many movies based in like old times where they're struck gold or we're searching for gold or oil or whatever it was. It was something that was actually going to
natural
resources.
Yeah. They talk about gold and silver being God's money in the Bible, like quite a bit. Yeah. And then for people like me, like I was born in 1970. My parents were born in the 40s. So my grandmother lived through the Great Depression, where they had to stand in line and get these ration booklets. And then you get the ration booklet and you could buy things like milk and corn and all that. Like it was really bad in America from 1929 to about 1939. And that's so long ago that younger people just go, wow, whatever's happening in the world, I still live in the best country. I'm safe. Nothing can happen to me here in America. And that's, for the most part, that's been true for a long time, but we are susceptible to attacks of all different kinds from elsewhere. And that's one thing that the younger people don't really understand. And I feel like it's our job to help spread that word, that gold and silver really have always been the world's currency. It doesn't matter if you're talking the Middle East, Asia, wherever, it's always been the world's currency. And that's Russia with Putin. He's been beefing up the gold, all of his gold holdings. He might be the richest person in the world, but nobody knows, because he holds gold, and gold cannot be measured anywhere. What you have, only you know you have it. So it's out of the centralized banking system. Nice. So I think that the big banks, that's their goal. Keep us in the centralized banking system. They can see what you have. Soon the taxes are all going to be done electronically, where what you pay in taxes will be taken right out of your bank account. For me, it already is for the state. So it's everything's going to be done on your phone. Yeah. It's
so you don't got to do it at all. They'll do it for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you have to file your own taxes, but when you pay it, they want you to pay it online. Don't write a check anymore. It's a scary thought to just have everything be tied to the banks. You need to have something outside of that system.
Well, yeah, you have no control that way over your own money, it seems.
Exactly. It's we experience interference by the banks for people that agree to purchase gold and silver from us. Really? So I'll talk about how the process works and then what that interference is. Yeah. So let's say that someone fills out the online form. They say that the SMITHBROS sent you, and we call you, and you like us, and you decide you want to invest in gold and silver. So once we agree on exactly what you're going to invest in and how much it costs, we will send you an invoice. The invoice will have bank wire instructions on it, and you just head to the bank at your earliest convenience. Just take the printout that we email you, or take the email and print it out, and take that printout to the bank and say, I'd like to wire X amount to these guys. Sometimes the banks will say, okay, great. Now, do you know these people? And immediately they're trying to scare you, try to make you think that it might not be a real purchase.
Of course.
And they say, gold and silver is good, but I'm just looking out for you, and try to scare you. And they're being told to do that from the top. The banks are very afraid of people owning assets that are outside of the banking system. So sometimes I'll get calls. A client will call us and say, and it's happened like twice this week already. And people will say, I'm at the bank, and the people at the bank here don't want to send the wire transfer. So what do you mean they don't want to send the wire transfer? They say, well, they think it could be a scam. I go, it's not a scam. We're vouched for by some of the biggest names out there. General Flynn we're his gold buyer of choice. I'm partners with General Flynn. The guy's worked in the highest level of American intelligence. He had us checked out. So like
nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. It's so I tell them, look, you're like me. When I was 12 years old and I want to go to the movies, I have to ask my parents, and if they say no, I can't go. I go, right now, it's like you're like a kid at 12 years old. You're asking the bank if you can spend your own money, and they're pretty much telling you no. I go, insist, or you let the banks win today. Either way, it doesn't change my life. I'm just trying to spread the word and help people fight back. And 9 times out of 10, it'll go through.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah. It's like if they can control the money, they can control you. That's what it really seems like it's about. It's not. It's like it sounds like back in the day they might have made a decision to help them out when they got rid of the gold standard. But when you like look at all the stuff that's happened, it seems like it was more just about controlling the people. And the way we control them is control their resources. That's absolutely insane. I really didn't know a lot about this. So this is like very informative for me. I'm sitting here like a little kid, like, wow, tell me more. like this is awesome to hear. But once again, this is just like, I'm so glad you're here teaching us this, and our audience can hear this, because I really think they're gonna switch up and buy some gold and silver.
For sure.
Because no one wants to be controlled. You're actually like a little puppet,
especially and us, our audience.
We're puppets essentially. If they control our money, then they control us, and we don't want to be that. Ooh. So this is awesome. I love this.
Yeah, and just to add one thing to that, if you guys recall the Great Recession after the housing market crashed in like 2007, 2008.
Oh yeah.
Many of the banks were failing. And if you think what happened to the banks that were about to fail that didn't fail, the government bailed them out. So if the government bailed them out, then that would make them partners. So if they're partners, then that would mean that the government is actually on board with them controlling every little thing we do with our dollars. And that's a scary thought too.
So, yeah. But I mean, it's like our audience is all conservative, Republican, and borderline conspiracy theorists. So like they're all in on that. Like they'll be in my comments and be like, "Oh yeah, for sure, so and so is behind all of this." You know, they'll name out some big old names I know we've all heard, and I'm like, right. So like, and the banks, if you transfer all this to gold, they're not aware where your money's at. And like you said about Putin, like he could be the richest man in the world. We don't know, and they don't like that at all. They want to know where all our money is. Like, where'd you get this? Where'd you get this resource? Because they can't control you. If they can't control you, and like we were saying earlier,
you're truly
bad news bears for them.
You're truly free at that point. I love that.
Man. I once saw a tweet from Elon Musk that said, I wonder what it would be like to have the kind of money that Putin has. If you think about that, it's like, I think he knows the inside stuff, you know?
Yeah, of course. The supposed richest man in the world says that about Vladimir Putin.
Exactly. It's powerful. So I have so much to share over time with your listener base. It's there's so much we can cover. I think we should do something regularly where I could come on and just talk about different things. But really, all roads always lead to get as much gold and silver as you can, because if you wait too long, when everybody else out there wakes up and realizes that they need to have it, the price will be higher, the premiums will be higher, and you'll have to wait to get it delivered.
Wow. We're gonna start purchasing that like ASAP.
Hey, no, for real.
Like honestly, we're gonna fill out the little thingy. We're gonna go to the website.
Who sent you? SmithBros.
No. Honestly, no. But seriously, protect yourself, protect your finances, protect your family.
Yeah.
Honestly, this isn't even just about you and as an individual. It's about the future. It's about your extended family, like who you're gonna bring into this world. Like you want them to be okay. Like times, I mean, biblically, I don't know where we're at, but times are supposed to get worse. So if things are gonna get worse, you got to be able to provide, protect, and make sure your family's okay. They're not puppets. They're not robots. They're not, being controlled.
You want to be truly free, and this is the way to do it.
Exactly.
Financial freedom will set you free in every other area of your life. Exactly. So yes.
So we're gonna put the description, the link of your website in the description below. We'll tell them the code. We'll tell them SmithBros. Like tell them that SmithBros sent you, and obviously we're definitely gonna have you on as much as we can. Whatever.
I feel like this
bi-weekly, weekly, don't matter. Yeah, I know. whatever we can decide, like we'll get through that. But man, this has been so informative and helpful, and like it's like hearing little snips of what Dad used to tell us, but like way more like in depth, like about the importance of gold and silver. And so thank you for coming on. We appreciate you so much, man. It was a blast.
And make sure one more time, what was the website one more time?
It's bh-pm.com, and just click on any of the buttons that say first time customer, free consultation. Do it now. Write down the web address while you have a moment. Do it when you have a free moment, whichever. But do it. We're not going to pressure you. We'll have a nice conversation with you and help educate you, and whatever you decide to do after that, it's up to you.
Man, I'm happy for you guys. Kids are about to be safe, safe and secure. So, all right. Well, thank you again. We'll see you very soon, and have a good day.
Take care. Thank you so much.
Bye. All right. So you guys know that video was fire. You can't even deny it. It was amazing. Everything Angie Sorchini taught us about inflation, about the importance of buying gold, and how you buy it for a long term. You don't buy it right away. But here's some great news that me and Isaac have, or Mr. Sunglasses, I'm so cool. Okay. We have something we got to tell you guys.
Just, rock out with my sunglasses.
Yeah, rock out in the inside when we got lights. But okay. Oh, I guess that's the only excuse with lights on our faces.
These lights are coming in my
face. Okay. Anyways, the point is, you can go to bh-pm.com and you guys can put in that the SmithBros sent you guys.
Come on.
And you need to put the SmithBros sent you guys because we sent you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just logical sense. But yeah, go to bh-pm.com. Let them know the SmithBros sent you. Get yourself some gold. Get yourself some silver. Protect your money. So protect your money. That's God's money. Robert Kiyosaki always says that. That's God's money. Gold and silver.
Come on.
So go get yourself some of God's money, yo. All right, y'all. We love you. We'll see you next